Your grandfather changed his motorcycle oil in the driveway with a wrench, a drain pan, and 15 minutes to spare. No appointment, no certified technician, no proprietary fluid with a license number on the bottle. Today, that same job has been turned into a financial trap built by engineers who knew exactly what they were doing. In this investigation, we will expose every layer of how they dismantled the most fundamental act of mechanical self-reliance in motorcycling. The oil change was the most fundamental act of mechanical self-reliance in motorcycling. It required nothing more than basic tools, a quart of oil, and the confidence to do it yourself. Every motorcycle built before roughly 2010 gave you unobstructed access to the drain plug. You could see it, you could reach it, you could complete the job before your coffee went cold. Then they were covered up. Beginning in the mid-2000s, virtually every major manufacturer started wrapping their engines in multi-panel plastic bodywork that had nothing to do with aerodynamics and everything to do with access control. Fairings that require removing 6 panels in sequence before you can reach the drain plug. Belly pans held together with plastic clips engineered to become brittle after 3 years of heat cycling. The first time you remove a panel cleanly, you feel competent. The third time, you are holding a snapped clip in your hand that costs $12 a piece from the dealer and is not available at any hardware store in the country. This is not packaging, this is a blockade. It was designed by engineers who knew the difference between building something accessible and building something that punishes you for trying. But getting to the drain plug is only the first obstacle. What they did to the oil itself is the second crime. Walk into any motorcycle parts store and you will find a wall of motor oil, dozens of brands, dozens of viscosities. Most of it is engineered to protect any engine built in the last 40 years. Your grandfather used standard 10W40. It cost him $3 a quart, and the engine it protected ran for 200,000 kilometers without complaint. Today, if you own a BMW motorcycle, a Ducati, or a KTM, that oil is not approved for your engine. Not because it would damage your engine, because it does not carry the manufacturer's certification number. BMW created its own motorcycle oil specification series. Ducati recommends Shell Advance exclusively across its lineup. KTM has partnered with Motorex for certified fluid requirements. These certifications are not independent safety standards, they are licensing arrangements. Oil companies pay a fee to carry the approval. The certified product costs significantly more than a chemically equivalent alternative that meets the same performance grade. Document the use of non-certified oil and your warranty claim can be denied. This is the trap. The specification is owned by the manufacturer. The manufacturer profits from the licensing arrangement. The dealer sells the certified product at a substantial markup. You pay it or you void the warranty on the $15,000 machine sitting in your garage. And when the proprietary oil met the proprietary engine, the results were exactly what independent mechanics predicted. Ducati's dry clutch designs of the early 2000s required specific oil grades that many owners substituted with widely available alternatives. The results were documented across ownership forums in consistent patterns: clutch chatter, accelerated wear, and in some cases complete primary drive failure occurring within mileages that should have been well within the engine's service life. But the more instructive case is what happened with extended service intervals on modern high-performance parallel twins. Manufacturers moved aggressively towards service intervals of 10,000 kilometers and 15,000 kilometers, especially on turbocharged and highly stressed small displacement engines. They presented this as engineering progress, smarter oil monitoring, better chemistry. What they did not present was the documented pattern independent mechanics began seeing in their workshops. Turbocharger bearing wear appeared disproportionately in machines maintained on manufacturer. Recommended long intervals. Carbon buildup on intake components required specialized cleaning procedures that did not exist as a service category a decade ago. Those procedures cost $300 to $500 per service visit, and they exist entirely because of the engines and intervals that were sold to you as modern advancement. The extended interval did not emerge from a breakthrough in lubrication science. It emerged from a calculation. Fewer oil changes mean fewer visits to independent shops. Fewer visits mean fewer opportunities to catch developing problems early. More accumulated wear means larger repair bills. Larger repair bills mean a faster path to a new motorcycle purchase. The math works in one direction, it is not yours. But the oil and the interval are only two sides of the trap. The third is what they designed to punish anyone who tries to do this job without professional equipment. There was a time when a motorcycle oil filter was a triumph of simplicity. A steel canister on a thread with a rubber gasket. You put a band wrench on it, a tool that cost $6 at any hardware store, and you removed it. You could not crack it because steel does not crack. You could not strip it because steel does not strip. The filter was built for the driveway. Beginning in the mid-2000s, most major manufacturers replaced the steel spin on canister with a cartridge filter sitting inside a plastic housing. The stated reasoning was environmental, less material per change, less waste. The unstated reasoning is that plastic housings have torque specifications measured in foot-pounds. Exceed those specifications even slightly, and the plastic threads strip. Exceed them more, and the housing cracks. BMW's plastic filter housings on several Boxer twin configurations carry torque specifications that require a calibrated torque wrench to hit accurately. A wrench most home mechanics do not own. Exceed the spec with a standard hand tool and the housing fails. Here is what that failure looks like in practice. You change your oil, you reinstall the filter housing by hand and give it what feels like a firm tighten. 3 days later, there is oil on your garage floor. You trace it to the filter housing. The thread has stripped. The dealer quotes you $300 to $600 for a replacement housing, plus labor to access it through the fairing panels. The steel canister survives an over-tightened armature. The plastic housing does not. That design choice was made by engineers who understood exactly what the difference meant for the service revenue model. This is not incompetence, this is architecture, and if the fairing panels, the proprietary oil, and the fragile housing still have not pushed you toward the dealer, the extended interval is the mechanism waiting at the end. In 1990, every experienced motorcycle mechanic gave you the same advice. Change your oil every 3,000 kilometers or every season. It was conservative, it was simple, and it worked. Engines maintained on that interval ran for 200,000 kilometers on nothing more than that discipline. Then manufacturers introduced oil life monitoring systems and extended the recommended interval dramatically. They told consumers this was science. Better oil, smarter algorithms, changing oil at 3,000 kilometers, they said, was wasteful and outdated. Here's what they did not tell you. Modern motorcycle engines are nothing like the engines those intervals were designed for. Highly stressed parallel twins running at sustained high revolutions per minute in track-oriented configurations accumulate thermal and mechanical stress at rates that demand more frequent oil changes than the manufacturer's dashboard algorithm will ever recommend. The algorithm was calibrated to extend intervals to a length that reduces service visits. It was not calibrated to maximize engine longevity. The mechanics who service both extended interval and short interval machines document a consistent pattern: cam chain tensioner wear, valve seat recession, bearing surface degradation, all appearing earlier in machines maintained on manufacturer recommended long intervals than in identical engines change at half that mileage. The extended interval saves you 4 oil changes a year. The engine damage, it contributes to cost 20 times what those changes would have cost. They called the 3,000 kilometer rule wasteful because it kept your engine running too long. So here's what you actually do about all of it. Do not let them make you afraid of your own machine. If you own a motorcycle built before 2010, particularly anything with a naturally aspirated engine, a steel spin-on filter, and conventional analog instrumentation, maintain it yourself. Change that oil every 5,000 kilometers with any quality brand that meets the viscosity specification for your engine. That machine was built for the driveway mechanic. It wants to run for the rest of your life if you let it. If you ride a modern turbocharged or high-performance machine, ignore the oil life monitor entirely. Change at 5,000 kilometers regardless of what the dashboard tells you. Source your certified oil from a wholesale retailer, not from the dealer. The same certified product the dealer charges $15 a quart for is available at wholesale for half that price. Bring your own oil to an independent mechanic you trust, not to a fast-fit chain with the speed quota and no torque wrench. Before you buy any motorcycle, research the oil filter configuration on that specific engine. Find out if the housing is steel or plastic. Find out what it costs to replace. Find out where the drain plug is and what panels have to come off to reach it. That information is not in the brochure, it is in the ownership forms. Now you know to look. They design the fairing blockade, the proprietary oil specification, the fragile plastic housing, and the extended interval as a coordinated system. Every piece of that system serves a single purpose: to make you dependent on their service network. To turn a 15-minute driveway task into a $60 service appointment, you book 3 weeks in advance. The drain plug has not moved, the wrench has not changed. The only thing standing between you and your own engine is what they deliberately put there. Change your own oil, ignore the interval monitor, and never let them convince you that basic maintenance requires their permission. If this opened your eyes, subscribe and drop a like. Tell me in the comments, what is the last maintenance job a dealer told you only they could do?